the high-ticket closing lie that tricked thousands of 9-to-5ers into wasting 10k plus on courses. Hundreds of closing gurus have effectively teamed up to trick hundreds of thousands of young, ambitious 9-to-5ers into spending their life savings on useless courses. Now I want to cover why it's a fucking scam. Thousands of young guys are getting sold the dream of closing, investing their last savings into courses that promises them that they'll make 10 to 30k a month in just a few time months span. All YouTube videos and information on the internet supports this dream. Now why is that? Well, because everyone who makes the content is trying to sell you a course. And in the last 10 months, I've personally spoken to over 246 closers that has reached out to me on Instagram saying they've invested $7,000 to $15,000 in a course that teaches closing, but as soon as they get started, they realize the industry wasn't as portrayed. And look, here's the ugly truth that not a single guru talks about. Everybody's telling you, make 10 to 30k per month within a few months. Work remotely while traveling the world. Spend 4 hours a day on easy sales calls speaking to pre-sold leads. Have no experience, does not matter at all. All while working a 9-to-5 or studying at a university and learn the most high-paying skill on the earth. On paper, it sounds like any young guy's wet dream, right? But rarely do you find somebody who will tell you that almost every person who tries out closing fails miserably. And I'm not just chatting shit. I've been in the industry for 1.5 years. I've trained, hired, fired, and managed 65 plus sales reps. And I've spoken to closers making 30k plus per month. And I've also spoken to closers that have failed miserably. So if you're watching this, most likely you're an ambitious young guy who's found out about how ticket sells and hopes that closing will be the way to go to transform your life. Now I'm going to tell you some inside information in this video that no guru has released before. As if they did, they would lose tons of sales. So keep watching, grab a pen of paper, and I will get into exactly how you can avoid spending 6 to 12 months making nothing with closing, all while wasting 7 to 15k on useless courses. This is how you can avoid that. But then again, I will also show you how to approach high ticket sales the right way so you can still achieve your goals that you went into this space for in the first place. So firstly, just before we get into the depths of it, I just want to ensure that you guys understand the terms when I talk about high ticket sales, because there's two types. And not to have any confusion, there's having a closer and there's an appointment setter. A closer conducts the sales calls. So the closer takes either phone calls or Zoom calls, basically calls with a camera on, and usually has 30 to 90 minute long chats with the prospects and sells them a program over the call. These calls are obviously selling a program that's worth 2 to 15k, and the closer takes the payment over the phone. Now the setter books the sales calls. The setter gets handed a bunch of interested people every single day, and the setter's job is to essentially get a few pain points from the prospects, help them realize they need help, and ensure they're financially qualified, and then book them in. So here's the reality of high ticket closing industry for beginners. And I'm going to be very, very honest here. I fully believe that closing is one of the best ways to hit 10 to 30k a month nowadays. And I fully believe in the business model. And just as I've mentioned, I've spoken to loads of guys who've crushed it with this type of sales. However, with that being said, it's one of the worst and most difficult ways to make money online if you're a beginner. And I know this is completely opposite than what the gurus are telling you. So I'll cover exactly why this is. So I'll cover exactly why I'm stating the things I'm stating. I'll back it up with proof. And by the end of this video, you can make your own judgment whether you want to go with my advice, my insight, or you want to go with other people's insight. Regardless, I hope that this will be to some extent informative for you so you can make the best decision on how you want to approach your future and how you want to change your life and the vehicle you want to choose. Number one, I'm going to start out with saying it has an extremely high barrier to entry. Now, what I mean by that is the job requirements, the competition, the skill set you need, the character you need to be, and the courses and mentorships you need to buy to succeed. All of these 5 pillars makes it extremely difficult for beginners to get into this space and actually succeed with it. Now, gurus will tell you that you can easily make 10 to 20k a month in your first few months with closing. But for 95% of people, it just won't happen. And logically, it just doesn't make sense. Let's look at job requirements as an example. After getting directly offered tons of closing roles and having access to over 300 plus closing roles that offer earnings over 10k a month, in just the last few days, I can tell you that 95% of them require you to have anywhere from $500k to $1 million in cash collected under your belt. Now, if you don't have that, they won't ever give you a chance at the job, nor will they care to give you a shot at an interview. And cash collected is essentially how much cash you've sold for and collected as a high ticket closer. This amount of CC takes around 6 to 18 months to build up, depending on your skill set and offer. You have to think about it. $500k, $1 million is a lot of money to get paid over the phone. No beginners have this level of track record, meaning it will be nearly impossible for you to be considered for 10k a month roles. And here I want to show you the proof that what I'm saying is actually the truth. No guru, no course, no program will ever show you that this is the reality. But these are the exact closing roles that I've gotten access to personally. And I want to show you this. So OTE, which basically means on target earnings per month, 10 to 20k a month. At least 1 year of B2C experience and a consistent 30% close rate full time. You must have a proven track record or do not apply. Note, must have 1 year plus in media sales or high ticket B2B deals and a proven closer managing full cycle. OTE 10k a month. Here, 9 to 13k a month OTE on this one. US based, must have 1 to 2 years experience of selling SaaS. 20k a month close of an AI agency BizUp. 15 to 20k a month OTE. 1 year experience with 9 to 5 avatar and BizUp sales training. 1 year experience, guys. This is insanity. 15k a month closers for weight loss offer. 8 to 15k a month. Applicants must have a proven track record in sales with at least 1 to 2 years of experience in selling service-based packages greater than 5k and a minimum of $2 million in sales required. Here's the 7k a month closing role. Commission-based role, full-time US hours, experience in the coaching and information space is required with CRM experience. For the closer, it's required to have over 200k of sales required. Here, 22k a month closers. You must have at least $1 million of cash collected. And this is a hard requirement. Do not apply if you do not have it. And ideally, a new father or father looking to support a family long term should be your closer. We don't need bro closers. And here's another one. 12 to 20k a month closing roles. 1 year of B2B experience for closers. And applicants here on this one, 6k a month closing roles, must have had over 30k of cash collected in a single month with experience in the high ticket sales space. Okay, so what is the pattern here? A, all roles except one have earnings of over 10k per month. B, all roles require extreme amounts of experience that simply no beginner has. That means you're left with 3 to 6k a month roles. And even though this might sound good for you, these roles usually lie about their earnings. And I've been through it. It's insane what's going on in the industry. These roles will leave you to make either $0 a month or 1 to 2k a month from 8 hours of intense work every single day. And it would take you months to build up a skill set to even get to this level where you can make just a tiny bit of money. And the reason these closing jobs are usually extremely bad is because the leads are not pre-sold. The leads do not trust the offer. The leads are not financially qualified, so they don't even have the money to pay you on the phone. And 4, they have been booked through a low quality process with no awareness nor any context of what the intent of the call is. Meaning they'll show up and maybe think this is a free value call, and now you suddenly have to sell them on a $7,000 package. That's insane. And there's more to it. The competition in this space is through the roof, as this can be a very well-paying industry, and since it has existed for years and years, there are very capable closers out there. Closers that are so sharp you couldn't even fathom it, with an extreme high level of charisma and confidence, being absolute killers at applying to roles and crushing interviews because they've done it so many times before, all while backing themselves up with an insane track record. Now my question to you is, why would anyone willing to pay a closer 10 to 30k a month ever consider a beginner? The answer is they won't. They'll just go with a more experienced, more hungry, more confident, more socially capable closer that has a much better skill set through a longer history of high-level experience, that's hungrier than ever, and has closing as its only focus in life, with no 9 to 5 and no studies on the side. Like, guys, logically, it just doesn't make sense that a complete beginner with no knowledge in the space, maybe bought a little course, can come in and make these money that the gurus are promising you. And then I also want to touch on the lack of genuine skill set. And this is a quick one. You're selling packages for 2 to 15k a month. That is a lot of money to get a person to pay over a single call. Anyone telling you that this is easy is straight up lying to you. And check if they have a course. Maybe if they're saying to you it's easy, it's because they have a course. So they're more likely to sell it to you. There are so many in-depth concepts to understand that simply can't be learned on it over a few weeks, a few role plays, but takes months, if not years, of constant failure to learn. Meaning you will spend months, if not years, failing miserably while making no money. Then I want to touch on the lack of character. What nobody tells you is that you most likely lack character right now as well. Meaning beginners are not yet the character that can succeed with remote closing. As if they were, they would have already succeeded with it. So to achieve goals, we have to become the person capable of achieving them. But since you're not, when no earnings are made, but solely failures are faced, beginners tend to quit. Now you might have already experienced this, and I did, so it's normal. When I tried to make money remotely for my first few years, when things got tough, I quit. And even logistically, who has 6 to 12 months to go unpaid? Like, very few can even afford that, and the idea that this is a possibility for 95% of people who wants to make money remotely, it's just insanity. To succeed with closing, here are a few issues that beginners face as well. Beginners lack confidence. When they show up to the closing calls, they simply lack the confidence, they lack the conviction, they lack social skills, and they lack the ability to deal with constant failures. And if this wasn't the case, you would be a millionaire by now, as fear of failure, lack of belief in your ability to make it happen, holds so many people back. And getting rejected in your face 8 times a day for months with no pay is just not the best way to try and go out and make your first bit of money online. Why would you make it so hard for you to make a bit of money online? If you put it on such a high pedestal, it's very unlikely to succeed. But I also just want to say, this is normal. A lot of people start out with lack of confidence. They lack social skills. They lack the ability to deal with constant failures. So there's a way to overcome this, which I will cover shortly. Don't lose all your hope now. The last thing I want to touch on just before we get into the solution is the courses and the mentorship. There are some really good closing programs out there. Okay, there's some extremely capable closing coaches out there. I personally know somebody that has changed my life because he taught me closing, and he's such a capable guy. So if you ever need a closing coach, I can refer you to guys. And obviously I don't make money off that. I don't sell a closing program. But what I want to say is you simply cannot avoid investing into yourself if you want to crush it with closing, as this is such an advanced skill you need to learn, and you'll get crushed by guys who are learning from the top mentors in the space. And on top of that, the closing space is filled with very low quality mentorships run by guys who has done 1 to 2 to 3 months of closing, and then they suddenly teach you and sell you a course with the completely wrong insight. And in coaching calls of various mentorships, and some of these mentors are literally on their phone, are having fun with their friends, not focusing on the coaching call at all that you've just paid thousands of dollars for, or they're talking shit about the students and making fun of them in front of other students. And if I were allowed to show the recording, I would. And I do still believe that investing into yourself is always better than not doing it. And you'll always be in a better spot the more you commit yourself to the journey. But to actually get good mentorships, you need 2 things. 1, you need insider's knowledge, aka a capable closer that's been making 10k plus per month must refer you to a program, as he will tell you what's good or what's bad. Number 2, the good ones are usually anywhere from 10 to 15k per month, which for a lot of people just isn't doable unless you want to go in credit card debt, leaving them to only have the low quality mentorships as an option. And you guys want to hear the even more fucked part. Almost every guy who buys a closing mentorships ends up not even doing closing as the first thing, but they take another path and then later make the switch to closing, as they realize starting out as a beginner in the closing space is nearly impossible, for the exact reasons that I've covered in this video. So how do you approach closing, and what is the other path? Well guys, initially the reason I even made this video was because I had gotten spammed with messages from closers that just weren't succeeding. So now I want to cover the solution to this. Based on the insight I've gained in the last 1.5 years of being in the industry, seeing hundreds of guys fail, but also hundreds of guys succeed, I would without a doubt recommend appointment setting to start off with, and then later go on into closing. Now this is key. You won't quit the idea of going into closing, however, you'll approach it logically. So I'll cover exactly what appointment setting is and why I even recommend going into it. Appointment setting in a nutshell is, well, closers, they need sales calls. It's very simple. Setters book these sales calls and they get paid very, very well for it. Anywhere from $3,000 to $12,000 a month, and with 5 to 15% in commission, and sometimes even base pay on top of that in some cases. These base pays alone can be $500 to $2,000. A setter's job is literally to send messages throughout the day. You sit in an inbox of an online coach or an online education company and you speak to all the interested leads. So, to quickly showcase to you the funnel. Firstly, we have content. Content creates leads. Leads then follow you on Instagram. As you see, I follow here from the content here. Lead shows interest by the reaching out to the coach saying, hey, I'm interested in getting some help. Then the set itself happens. The setter in the inbox obviously responds to the leads, books them in for a sales call, and when the sales call happen, that's where the client gets onboarded as well, and then when you get a commission. Right, so just to sum it up again, there's content that attracts leads, interested people in our service. Then the lead follow-ups. When the lead follow-ups, our setters or us as setters now responds to the lead if they reach out to us. Then our job is to find pain points and qualify them financially, and then book them in for sales calls. And when this sales call happens and when the sales call closes, we get 5 to 15% commission off the close. So the concept is very similar to closing. And again, to sum it up, our job as setters is to find pain points, understand why the prospect needs help them realize they need help, and ensure they're financially qualified before booking them in for sales calls that the closer will conduct. And why is this better to start off with? Well, faster and easier to learn. Okay, so appointment setting, the skill set is so much lower level, and only messages. It's not speaking to prospects for 60 minutes over the phone. And once you've learned the process of setting, it's very much copy and paste ongoingly, meaning you can optimize your work rate a lot. Setting is only text messages. It's the same conversations you're going to be having, the same pain points, the same way to qualify, the same way to open conversations, the same way to pitch calls. And once you've learned it one time, you have it dialed in. Offer stacking. So there's an industry word called offer stacking. That means you can take 1, 2, 3 good roles at once and thereby make double or triple the money. There's a term called offer stacking going around in the industry as well, meaning you can take 1, 2, 3 good roles at once, work on all 3 of them, all 2 of them, and make double or triple the amount of money. This would be impossible with closing because you'd have to be dedicated to one offer, and that specific offer would take up all of your time. And I also want to mention that with setting, you can make life-changing money faster. Usually I've seen it take 1 to 2 months to hit $2,000 to $6,000 a month if you take the right action steps, which is extremely important. Obviously, if you don't know what you're doing, appointment setting won't be easier for you, and you'll go a year without making any money. However, I personally work with guys that have hit very, very high months in their first 1 and 2nd month of going into the space, even though they have no experience, which is what I want to get into as well. The industry itself is lower entry level. All the capable guys have gone into closing, meaning it's much easier to land a 5K a month role without experience when it comes to appointment settings. The skill set is easier to learn and there's less competition. Another good part of this is that mentorships are at a lower investment while maintaining high quality. Usually I've seen it's been 2 to 5K as an average, right, compared to 7 and 15K for a closing mentorship. And with setting as well, you can do it part-time. I've worked with multiple guys that are making 3 to 5K a month before going all in. So all in all, you basically get all of the benefits of closing without months and months of failing and investing 15K for mentorships that doesn't pay you back. With setting, like, you can quit your job, you can go all in, you can make 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 11, 12k a month remotely. It's easier to get into, there's less experience, it's a lower level skill set to learn, meaning you can learn it faster, meaning you can make money faster, you have to invest less money to make it happen. And here's the golden sauce as well. How do you now use setting to get into closing? Because obviously, I mean, 3 to 6k to 10k a month is nice with appointment setting, but if you're watching this, most likely you wouldn't be opposed to going into closing and making 10, 15, 20, 25, 30k months. So what I want to cover is that most successful closers, they start with setting. And here's how. Well, with setting, what happens is that you build up your character. You build up your work ethic. You transform your mindset into a person that is successful. You experience a decent level of hardship without quitting. So this still builds you up to being a fucking killer. And you learn the skill of sales. You build a track record, you build the experience needed to showcase that you know what you're doing when you go and apply for closing roles. And you have proof that you're a fast learner. So if you've been learning setting in 2 months, you've hit 5k a month within these 2 months. Now a company will trust you more to be a fast learner with closing as well. You learn how to apply to roles and crush interviews as well. Like the way you land a role for a setting role or a closing role is very similar. The way you apply to them and crush interviews are very similar. The only small adjustment is that you're going to be able to do more in-depth closing role plays on the interviews when it's for closing roles. But you learn that. You also learn how to source and network to get roles. Okay, so you learn how to source roles and network while building yourself up as a setter. Landing good roles, even getting access to good roles, is such a huge struggle that majority of closers are facing nowadays as well. And I haven't even covered that in this video. So you fix that by going into setting at first. And then you also gain the possibility of going all in on sales and quitting your 9 to 5 since you've replaced your income long ago with appointment setting. And Jay, you build confidence and conviction in yourself. This is so key for crushing it. You can't be insecure. You cannot lack conviction. You cannot lack confidence in yourself if you want to crush it with closing. And too many beginners are still doubting whether they can actually become successful. So when they go into closing, they'll just get fully destroyed. Overall, success rate is so much higher with setting than it is with closing. So if you want to make success a guaranteed, commit yourself to appointment setting at first and then go into closing. I genuinely hope that this video has set some more realistic expectations for what it takes to succeed with high ticket closing. If you feel that high ticket appointment setting might be just a tiny bit better to start with based on what I've covered this video, then go to my YouTube, watch my 1 hour free course on how to become an appointment setter and hit 3 to 12k months, even if you have no idea what it is, you don't know how to get into it, and you have no experience. Guys, truly it was a pleasure to record this. God bless you all, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace out.